Good morning, I'm Craig Negrelli. It's Wednesday, January 8th, 2025, and these are your Unbiased Updates. 3 massive wildfires burning out of control in Southern California. Thousands of homes at risk. How the winds are whipping the flames, causing an incredible amount of damage in a short amount of time. And the forecast for later today. Also, President-elect Trump speaks on his plans of acquiring Greenland, as well as the Panama Canal, and bringing in Canada as the 51st state. We have reaction from around the world.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world, these are today's Unbiased Updates.
We begin with the latest from Southern California, where the images are stunning. 3 separate wildfires are burning in the Los Angeles area with no end in sight as strong winds are fueling the flames. While all 3 fires are currently 0% contained, the most extreme of the 3 is the Palisades fire, which spans nearly 3,000 acres and has already forced 30,000 residents to evacuate. Cities surrounding Pacific Palisades have issued evacuation orders, including Malibu, which is to the west of the fire. Officials there have told all residents to prepare to leave their homes, whether they're under evacuation orders or not, since the inferno is moving so quickly. The neighboring city of Santa Monica issued an evacuation order for the northern part of the city and closed the area to the public, warning of an immediate threat to life. Even as thousands of firefighters battle the out-of-control flames, authorities are working to figure out the cause. A second wildfire, dubbed the Eaton Fire, is burning near Pasadena. A city spokeswoman says it has created its own firestorm with flying embers igniting at least a dozen other burners called spot fires. So far, the Eaton Fire has consumed about 1,000 acres. It engulfed homes and forced more than 100 people to evacuate from a nursing home, some in wheelchairs and on gurneys. A federal disaster declaration is now in effect for the Eaton Fire. And finally, crews are battling the Hearst Fire. That's burning about 100 acres in the San Fernando Valley, which is in the northern part of Los Angeles County, prompting evacuation orders there as well. School is canceled today in 19 districts across Los Angeles County, and more than 200,000 people are without access to power, either because of the powerful Santa Ana winds or because a utility provider turned off their electricity to prevent additional fires. The forecast calls for the winds to continue for days, producing gusts that could top 100 miles an hour in the mountains and foothills, including in the areas that have not received any rain in months. The Biden administration has now asked a federal appeals court to block a plea agreement for accused 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. The controversial deal would spare Mohammed from the death penalty for his role in planning the terror attacks on the World Trade Center and Pentagon on September 11, 2001 that rocked the entire country. In court filings on Tuesday, the Justice Department argued the government would be irreparably harmed if the guilty pleas were accepted for Mohammed and 2 co-defendants in the September 11th attacks. It said the government would be denied a chance for a public trial and the opportunity to, quote, seek capital punishment against 3 men charged with a heinous act of mass murder that caused the death of thousands of people and shocked the nation and the world, end quote. The Defense Department negotiated and approved the plea deal, but later revoked it. However, attorneys for the defendants argue the deal is already legally in effect and that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who began the administration's efforts to throw it out, acted too late. Mohammed is set to enter his guilty plea on Friday if the appeal is not granted. His co-defendants, accused of lesser roles on 9/11, are due to enter theirs next week. In Washington, the body of former President Jimmy Carter is lying in state at the Capitol this morning following a ceremony where members of Congress, the U.S. Supreme Court, and other guests paid their respects. The 39th president died last week at the age of 100. Carter's body had been lying in repose since Saturday at the Carter Presidential Center in Atlanta before being moved Tuesday morning to D.C. Vice President Kamala Harris and House Speaker Mike Johnson each gave a eulogy during the ceremony at the Capitol.
We all know that his care for humanity didn't stop at building homes. In the face of illness, President Jimmy Carter brought life-saving medicine. In the face of conflict, he brokered peace. In the face of discrimination, he reminded us that we are all made in the image of God. And if you were to ask him why he did it all, he would likely point to his faith.
James Earl Carter Jr. loved our country. He lived his faith. He served the people. And he left the world better than he found it.
Carter's body will lie in state through Thursday morning and then be taken to the National Cathedral for a state funeral, where President Biden will deliver a eulogy. In a wide-ranging press conference from Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday, President-elect Donald Trump touched on a bunch of topics, including a $20 billion foreign investment to build data centers in the United States. Also, his plans to revoke President Biden's recent ban on offshore oil and natural gas drilling, and expansion strategies for the United States. Donald Trump repeated his goals of acquiring the Panama Canal, which has been under Panama's sole control since 1999, and Greenland, a territory of Denmark. Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., is leading an American delegation that is currently in Greenland, though the country's prime minister says Don Jr. is there as a private individual. A reporter asked the president-elect if he can assure that he would not use any military force to take control of either the Panama Canal or Greenland. Trump responded.
I can't assure you, you're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something.
In response to those remarks, the Prime Minister of Denmark called the United States its country's closest ally and did not believe the U.S. would use force to secure Greenland, while Panama's foreign minister repeated earlier comments from the country's president that the sovereignty of the Panama Canal is not negotiable. Donald Trump also said he is looking to turn Canada into the 51st state, but in this case would not use military force to do so.
Economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada.
Outgoing Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau issued his response in a post on X, saying there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States. And the president-elect spoke of one more geographical goal of his in the upcoming term, to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, saying it, quote, has a beautiful ring to it. Not long after his remarks, Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia said she has directed her staff to begin drafting legislation for the name change. More details are now emerging about the man who blew up a Tesla Cybertruck outside Trump Hotel in Las Vegas on New Year's Day. Straight Arrow News reporter Lauren Taylor explains how police say the former soldier used artificial intelligence to plan the attack.
Las Vegas police said Tuesday the attacker, who exploded a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel, used generative AI, including ChatGPT, to plan the attack. An investigation into 37-year-old former soldier Matthew Leibelsberger found his search history on generative AI platform ChatGPT included questions about firearms and explosives. Authorities said Leibelsberger looked for information on explosive targets, ammunition speed, and whether fireworks were legal in Arizona. The Las Vegas sheriff said it was the first incident he knew of in the U.S. where an attacker used ChatGPT for help in building a device. ChatGPT's owner, OpenAI, told the Associated Press ChatGPT responded with information already publicly available on the internet and provided warnings against harmful or illegal activities. We're working with law enforcement to support their investigation. Authorities said Leibelsberger considered carrying out an attack on the skywalk at the Grand Canyon in Arizona. He also left notes detailing his motivation. According to investigators, Leibelsberger said he felt a burden taking lives as a service member and warned that the U.S. was heading for collapse and urged the country to rally around President-elect Donald Trump and Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
Our Lauren Taylor reporting. You can find more on the investigation into the Cybertruck explosion on our website, san.com, and the Straight Arrow News app. Finally this morning, we end on what some might call a bittersweet note. Girl Scout cookie season has kicked off. The annual tradition is meant to teach young girls about entrepreneurial skills through selling boxes of cookies. Lots and lots of boxes, as you know. Everyone has a favorite, of course, but if yours is Girl Scout s'mores or Toast J cookies, well, we have some bad news. The Girl Scouts are retiring those two flavors later this year. The organization, however, says that discontinuing those two might lead to something new and delicious. And you could say that's the way the cookie crumbles. By the way, my favorite are the peanut butter patties. Just take some real peanut butter, slap it on top, and you've got a great snack that'll cover you for hours. Those are your unbiased updates for this Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.